Hello, lovelies. Welcome to my March edition of Hold My Coffee 2021. It's March 1st, or as I've been counting the calendar, December 90th, 2020, because isn't that how it all feels? Um, in book news, the launch of A Huntsman's Hatred on the 19th went better than expected. People seem to enjoy the Huntsman series. The next book, A Huntsman's Hatred, will be launching on March 19th. However, all the hard copies are available. I, of course, am leaving the very rough drafts up on Inkitt to read for those who don't have the means or have a Kindle. So the books are still available. However, if you'd like to donate, I do have a Ko-fi account now. Coffee account. So the link is below if you would like to donate. I appreciate it. It's been a tough year for writers. Um, for upcoming book news, there's I'm a little worried for the April launch of The Wild Anemone. It might actually get pushed back to the summer. Um, some of my editors, with everything going on, have had to take a step back, and I totally understand that. It's 2021 is basically looking at her big sister and going, "Look what I can do." Yeah, I totally expect to see an ad from thematch.com, 2020 and the devil, and she has locked 2021 in a room somewhere and is just running amok. As 2020 just doesn't seem to be ending. For everyone in Texas, my prayers go out to you. Um, I lived in Texas from the time I was 6 until I was 25, and then I moved to Colorado. And in after I got married, we moved to Texas for 4 years, but my husband just he couldn't handle the heat. He was dying. He's from here. He's a northern boy. He's a big bear of a guy, and he couldn't handle the heat. The mosquitoes would find him, so we came back to Colorado, which is much more prepared for inclement weather than Texas. Um, the farm did well. Our coldest night was negative 19 Fahrenheit, and that day we had a high of 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Um, but it's warming up this week. We had another band of snow come through, two more actually, after the really cold weather. And it is supposed to warm up this week into the 40s to 50s Fahrenheit. So it's going to be very nice, warm spring weather. And I'm very looking forward to it. Um, let's see, what else? My 85K 90, which is a writer challenge, 85,000 words in 90 days from January 1st to March 31st. I have 82,000 words as of yesterday, I believe. And so it looks like I'm going to hit my goal, you know, um, weeks early. So I'm gonna see if I can get like an additional 20 or 30,000 words on. I finished Ghost with Hope, which is the third of the Book of Elo series, and the rough draft is on my Inkitt to read for free. And the whole Ghost series is doing pretty well. People seem to like it. Some 5-star reviews. So, um, let's see, the Servants of the Moon series that I started 3 years ago. Servant of the Moon, Daughter of the Tides. I'm now starting on Servant of the Sun. We've got 13 chapters, I think, plotted out for that we're getting worked through. So I hope to finish that by the end of March. Fingers crossed. I have a lot of editing to do and prep work. Yeah, indie book launching is stressful and difficult, and yes, that. Um, I need to stop saying. That's like the eighth one. the it's been hard. The weather and just everything. 2020 just doesn't seem like it's ending. Um, I said it again. I'm trying to get a lot done. And as you know, I've had a stroke, I have brain damage. I'm going to try to put out a few videos on my writing process because I don't write linear. I kind of jump all around. I have told people that my writing style is the equivalent of a hummingbird in a meadow or a cactus drunk jackrabbit under the full moon because I just hop all over the place. And I actually do rough drafts of my plots before I write anything while I'm doing the world building because of my brain just. So other than that, I will do a video again on the 19th of March for the launch of A. Huntsman's Horror. And I put a survey on my Inkitt, Wattpad PM me for a book to read for this video. And the 3 people got back to me, and everybody's crazy right now. And the request was for Revelation of A.S.H. This is actually the first book that I wrote and published onto Amazon. This was my first foray into indie publishing, and I am going to read you the quote and then a part of the chapter. The blurb on the back is, for nearly 100 years, the governments of the world planned to slowly reveal to the public the existence of non-humans, using fiction literature, visual entertainment, and later social media. The goal was to foster societal acceptance for those different from humans. The revelation plan failed in one night as deranged vampire and werewolf males attacked everyone they found. Nearly 2 million died, including Quinn's family. She's determined to find the real cause, as the government blames her husband's aggression suppression hormone. The only safe place is in the dangerous quarantine zone, filled with monsters. But she isn't the only one seeking the truth. The question shouted in the aftermath of the Revelation plan failure was, how could this have happened? The question whispered, could it happen again? Then I have a quote, something Quinn says when she's asked about the Revelation night. We thought it was a hoax. We thought the 911 alerts were a Halloween hoax. Vampires, werewolves, those weren't real things. We didn't know they were a real threat until it was too late to save ourselves. She survived and woke up, pregnant with the child of the one who changed her into one of them on the Revelation night. So Quinn's just a mom character. She's surprisingly strong, but she's also she comes with a lot of baggage. She spent most of her life on the run after her parents and later her aunt were brutally murdered. She met a doctor who is a environmental biologist, and he promised her she would always be safe. But what she didn't know was that wasn't exactly who she thought he was. I mean, with her, he loved her, he adored her, he loved their children. They had 2 children, Molly and Miles, and Molly was autistic. She had Asperger's, so she had the sensory overload thing. She would wear headphones when she went out in public. She was very artistic. I based the character model on my own daughter. And when they start, this blizzard is coming in, there's kind of this weird, sweet smell in the air that it, who knows. And she just, when she started getting the alerts, she was like, "Oh, ha ha ha, vampires, werewolves attacking people. Someone hacked the 911 system and is hoaxing everyone." And she ignored it, which any of us would do. If you got, well, most people, if you got a text message from the 911 alert system that said, "People are acting strangely," and then it said, "People acting strangely are vampires and they're attacking people," you'd be like, "Mm-hmm." And so they were getting these messages like every 10 and 20 minutes until basically she just turned off her phone and like, "No, we're done." And in today's society with streaming TV services and stuff, most people wouldn't be watching the local channels. They wouldn't be paying attention. They could be blaring news alerts about the end of the world. And, I think, what happened in Texas is a really good example of how people ignore local media because there were so many people that were like, "We were never warned about this cold weather coming." And yeah, I get the news from Channel 2 Houston on my feed because I got friends and families down there. I keep up. And they were this cold weather is coming. This bitter freeze, be prepared. Alternate food sources, alternate heat sources. And sadly, probably 40 or 50% of the people just ignored it. They were like, "Right, snow in Houston, right?" And that's a really good example of what happened in the Revelation night is they were warning people, get to safety, get hidden, hide yourself. And people were just ignoring it because they thought it was a joke. They thought it was a hoax. I mean, vampires, werewolves, really. It'd be like when the zombie apocalypse comes, for those who are big zombie Walking Dead fans, that's what will happen is the majority of people will go, they'll get the text message and they'll be like, "Ah, ha, ha, ha," you know, but it's our society. We are trained to disbelieve the media. So that's what happens to Quinn. And unfortunately, because she doesn't seek shelter, because she doesn't get in her storm shelter with her children and lock the door, she loses her whole family. And the thing that really starts driving her and her new wolf is that the last thing her husband said to her before he died was, "Something went wrong with the program. They tested it against my recommendation." And that starts her, she wakes up in a hospital in another state, and then she has to, like, she goes back to her home trying to figure out what happened. So I'm going to start reading from chapter 3. It's called A New Nightmare. And uh, the because this is one of my first books, I wrote it in first person POV. There's two characters that you get the first person point of view from. Um, Quinn Shalom Phillips, who's the main character, and then Jacob Vanguard, who is he becomes a main character later. And the most of the rest of it's in third person. But anyway, I'm going to start with chapter 3, A New Nightmare. A warm hand touched my frozen skin. It was still dark. The power hadn't been restored, and all my plants were probably frozen. The cologne of the person touching me smelled like a warm meadow. I could also smell a strange musk, the cedar shavings on the ground of my greenhouse, and my dying chrysanthemums. My own blood. I could feel my blood crusted against my shoulder and back, on my stomach and legs. I wished I was dead, but the voice that whispered to me to fight, reminded me I have to find and kill whatever did this to me, to avenge my children and my husband. It was the same strange voice that encouraged me to seek shelter in my greenhouse and live. My hand clenched over the strange ring on my thumb. She's alive, a strangely accented man's voice whispered, but she won't be for long. Something warm and coppery was forced between my lips. I swallowed on reflex and almost gagged. It was blood, but it tasted oddly sweet, like it was mixed with honey. As I swallowed again, I started sucking slightly. I wanted more, a warm feeling spread through me. Should you do that? She's a wolf. A soft female voice spoke. The slightly gruff voice answered, We don't have a choice if she is going to live long enough to get to a hospital. She's only the third one we've found alive. I won't lose her. She might be able to tell us something. Do you think those were her family? She sounded like an angel. Yes, a husband, wife, and 2 children lived there, he answered. Oh, I realized the soft voice sounded very young, like Molly. But Molly and Miles were gone. Ken was gone. He said I was only the third they found alive. There were over 500,000 in our city and half that many in the surrounding suburbs and towns. A new voice shouted, Gerard, they're coming back. Shut the hell up, Liam. They'll come faster if you shout. The one called Gerard whispered harshly. I got this coat from the house, the soft voice said, and my long winter coat was wrapped around me. There's more dead inside, a wolf and a human. It was him. I groaned, trying to make sense of everything as they buttoned my coat around my wounded body. Then I was picked up. We're going. Hang on, mon petit loup. Moving is going to feel strange, but trust me, I will not let them hurt you further. Petra, Liam, lead them south and catch up. Hurry, it's almost dawn, and we will lose the cover of darkness to search and escape. I shuddered as a howl echoed in the silence, followed by a second. Something screeched. To my muddled brain, it sounded like a velociraptor from those dinosaur world movies Miles loved. It was then I realized something was very wrong. In the still air, I heard nothing but my Savior's rapid footsteps, too fast for a normal person. As I listened harder, there were no cars, no traffic noises, no planes, no familiar sounds of the city or suburbs, not even a dog barking. Only my Savior talking to someone on a radio or Bluetooth. In the distance, a helicopter roared toward us. I heard voices and snarling growls as I realized Liam and Petra were both shouting. Then it sounded like there were monsters fighting. They sounded so far away now. I felt Gerard leap and heard the sound of giant wings beating the air. Then we were floating. The pain in my body made me black out. The jolt of being laid down woke me. Then an IV was put into my arm. Someone covered me with a warm blanket. Gerard was holding my hand. I know it was him, but I couldn't open my frozen eyes. Thank you. I don't know how he heard my whisper. Monlu, I am so sorry this happened to you, to your family. I will make it right. I promise I will protect you. His accent told me he was from France, or maybe Canada. His fingertips tangled in my bloody hair. Merci, mon ange. I breathed out, The little French I remembered from high school. He squeezed my hand. I made it out alive again. I was saved. Once more, my family was lost. So that is the reading from chapter 3, the beginning of chapter 3 from Revelation of A.S.H. From the Revelation Night series that I have on Amazon. Again, this was the first book that I published, so the formatting, I've tweaked the formatting twice. I'm still not. Indie publishing is hard. It is difficult, and I need to work on it more if I'm going to finish my 10 books in 12 months that I want to do for Hold My Coffee 2021. I hope that wherever you are, that you are well, that life is not making you bitter, that you are choosing to be better, and I will see you later this month for the launch of A Huntsman's Horror. Be blessed and have a lovely day.